Hi, welcome to Thrifty Organized Mama. If you want to plan a mermaid theme party or an under the sea birthday party, I've seen it used for any age. However, I really liked how sea and three rhymed, so I did it for my daughter's third birthday, under the sea when she's 3. I planned a mermaid birthday party and wanted to share with you what I did to give you some ideas, but also how to save money. First, I always start planning parties in my head, gathering ideas on my private Pinterest board, and then I use these party planning checklists and budgets to give me ideas of what I need because there are so many details and I forget all the little things. So it's important to have a checklist. They can be found on Etsy as a digital download on Stonic Designs. Link will be in the description. These help me kind of collect my thoughts and ideas, plan what I have, what I still need, and how much I need a budget for. They really do keep me on track. For any party that you're planning, whether it be birthday, baby shower, baptism, retirement parties, these are the major categories that you want to think of in mind. The venue, the budget, all the paper products, the food and beverages, the activities or games, the decorations, and if there's little kids, maybe some favors. Also want to think about what the entertainment's going to be and if you want some music in the background. Where you have the party really sets the tone for the event. So depending on what the event is and what the ages that are involved, it really helps you narrow it down as well. Other things that narrow it down are considering the weather. First, the most cost effective is at your house. You don't have to rent a place, but there is a lot of cleaning and a lot of prep involved before the party and during the party and after the party. So if you don't want it at your house, you can do it at a restaurant, a forest preserve pavilion, maybe a community center or play center. There's also other places like play places for children, like a trampoline place that can do events as well. The next most important part of planning is the budget. At Thrifty Organized Mama, we strive to cut the costs down as much as possible to save money. So you have to understand where you're going to have the party and what you're going to be serving, what kind of games or activities that your guests are going to be participating in, what the favors are, the decorations. You can find a lot at the dollar store. You can make a lot. You can also find them at other places like estate sales, thrift stores, or garage sales. So you want to research how much your rental is for your venue if you're not having it at home, what the entertainment is going to be. Maybe you want to hire princesses for a princess party or face painters or have a music playlist. This party budget planning sheet is in a bundle on Stonic Designs and really keeps you on track. First, let's get into all the paper goods because they're small, but attention to detail is important. To save money, you can have your save the dates or invitations be electronic. You can text or email the links to people. You can also go for more formal, if you want like a keepsake, you can do paper invitations as well. I like to look at dollar stores and thrift stores for unopened boxes or the clearance section at Target or Walmart or other big box stores. You're going to think about what the signs are going to be at the tables to label all the food and the favors and where and everything is going to be. And finally, thank you cards. Some people do them, some people don't. I think it's respectful and proper etiquette to say thank you to the people that gave you a gift. They spent so much time and money to come and maybe get a gift or contribute to the party that they're invited to. So it's the right thing to do to thank them. Here are some save the dates for digital download on Stonic Design Etsy shop and invitations that I found on Amazon to fit my theme. Here's a sample thank you message, which is also in Stonic Designs, and I love how it says, "Thank you for coming to my celebration." A lot of play on words and fits the theme. You can also get blank thank you cards that fit your theme. On Amazon, I found some that have mermaid envelopes, so they really tie in that theme together. Next, we have the food. For a large crowd, think catering, maybe ordering pizza, salads, buying in bulk, etc. For this party and to save money, we made our own sandwiches. We went to Walmart to get those French baguettes. I think they're like $1.60, and they make about 4 to 6 sandwiches each. And we got a bunch of deli meat, cheeses, mayo, and mustard. To go with her theme, we used for beverages bottled water and Capri Sun. They actually have flavors called Pacific Cooler and Tropical Punch, so that was fun. We did cupcakes from Walmart for dessert. Make sure you look at their bakery section and see all the different themes they have. They have quite the extensive list. To fit the mermaid theme, we had ocean food like gummy sharks, Swedish fish. They actually came in Swedish fish friends, which had a tropical flavor, and they were such a hit because they had different animals like the sea turtles. We did goldfish crackers and Hershey kisses that we called mermaid kisses. I was lucky enough to find Hershey kisses that had her exact color combination. I found them around Valentine's Day, and her birthday's in March, so I shopped ahead. Look for those Valentine's Day sales or Easter sales, especially if you have a color theme. That candy doesn't expire so quickly, so you can buy them a little ahead of time if it's around a holiday with the color that you're looking for. These food signs were found on Etsy, and the little clips, believe it or not, were found at Dollar Tree. They had starfish ones that came in the pack of 6 that I used in this picture, and they also had seahorse ones, so that was really cute. Here's a closer look at the signs that I found on Stonic Design that I put on the bowls of the different foods. When you have a variety of foods, you don't want to field the questions of, what's this? What's inside this? When you're hosting the party, you want to enjoy your party. So I highly recommend putting out signs so there's no questions and they can read and see for themselves. They're available on digital download on Stonic Designs on Etsy. They do come in the larger size, so when I ordered them, they were like paper size, 8.5 by 11. So I had to shrink them down on a Word document so that would fit my bowls because my bowls were small. They weren't very big. And then I got to resize them for a different canister that I was using that was a bigger bin. So when you buy these, they do come in a full page size, the 8.5 by 11. So you want to either resize them in the program or you want to put them in a Word document so you can decrease them to the size that fits your items that you're using them for. I make my own daughter's cake. She has specific food allergies, and then I use cupcakes for the guests. The reason I do this is because one, you're serving just one per person, and you don't have to spend time cutting the cake for everyone. And I feel like when you cut the cake for everyone, you sometimes waste a lot of cake because they don't all eat them. So it's easier to grab and go with cupcakes. And then when you have her blow out her candles, you don't want to spray her spit all over the giant cake. And if you're at a different location or venue, you don't want to forget to get the serving utensil and knife. So this way is easier for me. I just found it over the years that you get cupcakes for the guest and you make her own cake for herself. I got these cupcakes at the Walmart bakery. They have a ton of great themed cupcakes or cakes for birthday parties, so I definitely use them every year. The candle that I found, the 3 that looks like a mermaid tail, I found on Amazon. It was around $5. And I was debating it because $5 is a lot for just one thing that she's going to use for 1 year. So it was kind of a big purchase for something so small, but it was just too cute to pass up and fit perfectly with her theme and the color scheme. Okay, here are the decorations, which is the fun part for me. When I think of theme parties, I try to come up with 3 colors that the color scheme will entail. So mermaid or under the sea, I put together the purple, the teal/turquoise color, and pink. So when I'm going about the year, I think of blue, purple, pink, or any sea and ocean decoration that I would look for anytime I was at a different store. You can do a variety of these colors, like light and dark, to mix it up. But once I have those 3 colors for my color scheme, I look for those in the months prior to see how they would fit. I try to buy things when they're on sale. Give yourself a few months because prices fluctuate. I would look at dollar stores or use what you already have. And make a list on your phone or whatever you keep in your purse with you of what you have and what you still need to avoid buying duplicates. I accidentally bought two different kinds of treat and favor bags and had cupcake toppers, stuff that I paid for but didn't need because I didn't write a list on my phone when I would go to different stores throughout the months leading up to our party, and I forgot what I already had. So make sure you have a list on your phone and write down what you have and what you still need so you don't end up spending more money than you really need to. For the tables, I found all the tablecloths on either Dollar Tree or Amazon. I found the pink, purple, and the shimmer, I'm going to call them runners, at Dollar Tree. However, I couldn't find the turquoise or teal ones at the dollar store, so I had to go on Amazon and get them to fit the theme. I'm so glad I found the shiny tablecloths at the dollar store because I didn't open them up all the way and I just used them as runners. So those are actually shiny tablecloths that I didn't open up all the way, and it definitely elevated the space. The tables had starfish that I made from clothespins and a big seashell that I found at estate sales and thrift stores. And for the centerpiece, I used blue cups, like turquoise cups, and I filled with those clear beads. And I put them in a mermaid drink floaty. And these were all at Dollar Tree. The cups, the clear beads, and the mermaid drink floaty. And then I had a shell wand to stick in the middle to give the table some height. There were 4 guest tables, so I needed to find things that were large enough and I can get multiples of because I needed them at each table. At the community center room that we rent, there's this large beige dividing wall that's magnetic. It fills the entire space of the room, and it's the only wall that we can hang decorations on per the event space rental agreement. So make sure if you rent a place, you read those agreements of what's acceptable and what's not acceptable. So I got the tassel mermaid decoration at Party City before they closed, the happy birthday banner on Amazon, and the little bubbles of different sizes you can make out of construction paper. There's also placemats at Dollar Tree for the summer that are like starfish and seashells, but I use them for the big decorations on the wall. So I didn't use them for what they were intended for, but that's okay. Anytime you can use something for multiple purposes, go for it. I made a number 3 in a mermaid tail pattern using a circle hole punch, and I think it was around like a 2-inch circle. I got the hole punch at Hobby Lobby and I used them for multiple paper projects, so it's something I already had, and I wanted to tie in with her theme with the colors, so I got a bunch of different construction paper colors just to fill the space on the wall also. In the space that we rent, there's a counter in the middle of the room, so we use that for our main meals. The side tables have the dessert and snacks, but this has the plates, napkins, cutlery, and whatever the main meal is for our party. To dress up the space, I had little bubble banners that I actually found at Hobby Lobby. They come in a pack of 4, and sometimes Hobby Lobby has their party supplies at 50% off most weeks. So I used a variety of mermaid decorations that I found, but they didn't come in bulk. I only had one of it. So I put like a hodgepodge of mermaid decorations on this food table to kind of decorate the food table counter space. I bought a piñata at Party City before they closed, and I didn't use it for a piñata. It was just too beautiful to smash. So I used it as a decoration to fill that space. Again, I used odds and ends of mermaid or under the sea decor that I could find throughout the year, like seashells or Easter egg seashells from Dollar Tree, mermaid bath toys from a garage sale, and to hide that room phone at that place, I tried to make a little sign using markers for her color scheme, and I framed it from a frame at Dollar Tree. I was also lucky to find a teal colored net from a thrift store that I used on the table to add to her theme. Other things that kind of take up this space is a banner. I really love to use the banners to cover up those big spaces like in a community center where this was, and it's also great for photo opportunities. I used the banner and the holder. I got both on Amazon, and I got shell balloons from Amazon as well to dress up the banner in the corners. The coral reef from Pool Noodles. This was a lot of fun to make, and there are some great tutorials on YouTube. I got all the pool noodles from Dollar Tree. Again, I tried to find the theme colors of the blue, the teal, the purple. I couldn't find any pink pool noodles, but I added a touch of pink at the bottom. And I got the blue bin at Dollar Tree to put it in for easy transfer, especially when you go to a different venue. And I use these long sticks, like for s'mores or kebabs, to keep the pool noodles upright. And I used old newspapers and the packing paper from the Amazon boxes inside the blue bin so that I could stick those sticks in and hot glue all of the pool noodles on there so I could use that bin again for other things, because we always need bins when we have lots of different things around the house. I used a utility knife and a cutting board to cut up all the different pieces. And again, look on YouTube to find tutorials of how to make each one. Or maybe in the future, I'll make a video too. But it turned out great, and it added a lot of height, a lot of depth, and a lot of just added to the theme. It was so fun. There were quite a few DIY things that I made for this mermaid party. One of the things that I made early on was this pipe cleaner coral reef. They have pipe cleaners at dollar stores, but I didn't find the colors that went with the theme. So I had to buy a huge assortment from Amazon, and I pulled only the colors and the variety that would be at her party, like blue, turquoise, dark purple, dark pink, light pink. And I twisted them around my pencil and I stuck them into rolled up aluminum foil. They were so small, so I wasn't sure what I was going to do with them, but I did find a purpose for them. There were some empty spots in my coral reef pool noodle creation, so I stuck those into the empty spaces on the bottom, and it filled it up so well and covered up the newspaper below that it looked like it was meant to be. Plus, it added a different kind of texture, so it was really cool. In the end, it looked awesome. You saw it before. Second, I mentioned the starfish on the table that I used with clothespins. I got the clothespins at Dollar Tree. I took them apart and I hot glued them together in a star shape. They were great table fillers instead of buying real starfish, because that's expensive. We had a variety of ages at the party as guests, and a lot of kids, over 14 kids, literally ranging from age 2 to age 13. So I had to find games that would be appropriate for all of those ages. And with her birthday party being in March, in the Midwest, you never know what the weather's going to be like. If it's going to be rainy, windy, sunny, cold, warm, etc. So I like to plan for outdoor events, like we had bubbles and a bouncy castle and a parachute, but I also like to plan for indoor events in case the weather's bad. And I didn't want the stress of managing a coloring station with all those papers and all those crayons and materials and a different table. And I didn't want a creation station, like I saw a lot of cute decorate your own treasure chests, but that was a lot to manage and a lot of things that are just extra in cost that I found unnecessary. So the indoor activities that I had was a poster on the back wall, again, to fill that space. What's your mermaid name? And I used the markers that I used with other things that I made throughout her party. But there were also icebreakers for guests that didn't really know each other. They could say, hey, what's your mermaid name? Or show the kids how to find their mermaid name by following along the directions. Another activity was a guessing game. I bought a jar and some pens and Swedish fish at Dollar Tree, and I filled it up. Then I got these printouts at Stonic Designs. The person who had the closest guess got to keep the entire jar. So that was kind of fun for all ages to participate in. And the whole jar itself, the jar plus the pens and the Swedish fish, was all around like $4 or $5. So it wasn't too terrible. And one of the other indoor activities I had, especially for all ages, and if the kids were bored, was a scavenger hunt. So this was found on Stonic Designs on Etsy as well. Kids could go around the party marking off the things that they found, like seashells and a mermaid tail and balloons. It was super cute. Here are the guessing game and scavenger hunt printouts that I found on Etsy. They were super cute. I just downloaded it and printed them at home. If you want to save your ink but pay per page, you can go to the office supply store to use their printers too. I think Office Depot had black and white copies for 10 cents a page, and the color pages were about 60 cents a page. So there's not a lot of colors on them, which wasn't too bad. You can also use them for coloring later, but they had multiples per pages, so I counted how many guests I was going to have and figured out how many pages I need to print. The printing cost was about $6, and if I were to print this at home, it would have been like half a cartridge or more, which, I mean, cartridges are like $30 or more. So I was glad that I can save some ink and save some money by taking my USB thumb drive to the office store. Okay, let's talk about favors. Here's where it can get a little expensive. And I try to be as cost effective as possible and buy in bulk. I had favor bags from Party City, then these little things I bought on Amazon. We did ocean stickers, ocean notepads, mermaid tail pens, soles, and candy bracelets that had mermaid tails on them. I also had some leftover shells from the thrift stores and estate sales that I used to cover the tables and throughout. And so I gave them as favors for adults and kids too. For entertainment, I had some outdoor activities and some indoor activities, but during that time of the setup, which took me like 2 hours to make, and cleanup, which took about an hour, I created a Spotify playlist that I can play before and after the party for myself, but also to go with the theme and play it during the party. So I made a Spotify playlist. With Mermaid and Under the Sea songs to go with the theme. I don't pay for membership, so you do have to deal with the commercials. But if you do a free trial for a few months, it's all good. Just don't forget to cancel before the pay period is up. And here are some songs that I found that were really age appropriate for a third birthday. There's the Disney Little Mermaid soundtrack. Disney Junior had a soundtrack. There was some Barbie songs. I didn't know that there were Barbie Mermaid Party songs. That was cool. There's a lot of Disney stuff around oceans, like Moana, Lilo and Stitch. There's really cute songs about popping bubbles and the narwhal. Fish, reef sharks, baby shark is a big song. So there were tons, almost endless songs on Spotify to go with this awesome theme. Okay, this year I decided to find theme shirts. I found these on an Etsy store called Gifted Rainbows. They are personalized, so I can have my daughter's name on the bottom of that little tail, and I could, because she calls us Mama and Dada, I could have Mer Mama or Mer Dada. You can customize it to say anything, whatever your names are, Mommy, Dada, or you can get it with grandparents, aunts and uncles, siblings' names too. But it can get expensive the more shirts you get. So we just did one for my husband and I and the birthday girl, obviously. Lastly, here's where I found the digital downloads for the party and all the physical products. Most of the products were found at stores, but I did find a lot on Etsy and online on Amazon. So for digital downloads, I found them at Stonic Designs, and for physical products, I found them on Gifted Rainbows on Etsy, Amazon, Dollar Tree, Target, and any other thrift stores, garage sales that you can save money. It's awesome. They have so many things, and you can also bargain for, a cheaper price, which is great. I hope this helped you with getting ideas to plan a mermaid or under the sea party theme or theme party for any age. Thank you so much for watching. I'll be making more videos for party planning, but also organizing in the home. So please subscribe for more thrifty ideas to help organize your life.